Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to talk about 10 emotions specifically that are underrated at the office. A lot of times these emotions seem to be negative, but there are ways for everything to be positive, and this is going to highlight some of those ways. So it should be a pretty quick video, but I want to go through these things just saying, calling these out, and these aren't bad just because they have negative connotations. I got this information from the Harvard Business Review, and it's a pretty good article that came with this. The first emotion that's underrated is frustration. Frustration made people feel exasperated and feel tired or worn out, but honestly, frustration sometimes will be what leads to breakthrough ideas. Sometimes frustration helps lead to new best practices or motivation to reduce wastes. So frustration can be motivational if it's used in a positive connotation. Like we've always said, a positive attitude typically can turn a lot of things into learning or improvements, and this is an example of that. The second one that is underrated is discomfort. Most of our growth comes from an area outside of our comfort zone. Most of the people that you hear about when they talk about their stories of success, they are successful because they got into a place that they were not comfortable, and that discomfort is what motivated them to make a change, either in their lifestyle, in their work habits, or how they followed up, etc. So discomfort can be a motivational factor. The third is enthusiasm. Effective change in leaders around enthusiasm typically can move a lot of things forward. If you're not bought in and you don't have enthusiasm, you're not going to get teammates bought in and get them enthusiastic. So if you're not like an evangelical person where you're so motivated about the world that you're building and how you want to push change that motivates and benefits the team, it may be that you lack enthusiasm. The next of the 10 underrated emotions is anger. Suppressing anger will eventually convert into an internal toxin. Anger is not bad, okay? Anger is a response. How you respond is bad, right? So it could be bad, so you have to control how you respond. But anger is a natural feeling. So if something makes you angry, you need to look at that and see why it did, and you need to fix situations so that doesn't come back up again. So anger can be a motivational factor, and suppressing anger or suppressing feelings always leads to a toxic or a negative result. So that's not something you want to do. If you have anger, look at it, address it, assess it, see what came from it, improve, and move forward. The next one is regret. Regret often shows us what to do differently next time. So regret a lot of times is a very specific component of education. So if you're not successful and you fail, regret could be something in that failure that highlights what went wrong and motivates you to do something better next time. Okay, so regret is the fifth one in that list. The next is joy. Joy is not equitably assessed, okay? So basically, just because you're feeling a certain way, it's just like anger. You want to respond appropriately. So if you enjoy something, you want to do more to make that replicated in the future, because it should be a feeling that you want to sustain, and it should be a situation that you want to sustain. So if that's the case, you should use it just like anger. Use it as a motivational factor to change what you're doing or improve what you're doing, so you get to have that happen more often. The next of the 10 underrated emotions is devotion. We thrive in a context of high standards and unapologetic commitment to others' success. Being devoted to one another builds a team that is not breakable. And so when the going gets tough, that team will gel together and get through it. And that is how you want to look at devotion. It is underrated. I think devotion and loyalty go a long way. And if you can create a situation at your workplace or at your business where people are devoted and dedicated to what they're doing, to yourself, to your customers, that is how you set a business up where it will not fail. The next is fellowship. We need other people to help us get back up in a big way and in small ways, and help us basically through the minutiae of day to day. So it goes back to that devotion piece. Fellowship is the usefulness of conversation and the meaningful relationships that our team has, and it's enjoying that time together for growth. It doesn't mean it's always fun. It means that fellowship from that growth and understanding is cultivated. So that is an extremely important emotion. The next is happiness. There is power in sparking happiness in the workplace. I absolutely believe that. If you enjoy where you're at, people will come. It's one of those things where people don't miss things that they enjoy and things that make them happy. So that's something to focus on, and there is a value there. And the final one of this list is grace. I often say bad or toxic workplaces have all this grit but zero grace. Grace means you allow people to fail forward. People feel comfortable to put in their best effort and they fall short. They know it's not going to be fatal. It is a place where people know that growth will be sustained and appreciated, meaning you don't have to be perfect every day. There's grace giving there to help you get through situations as long as you take the learning from it. So we need to make a space for our own flawed humanity before we can open up that circle to others. So basically, we have to grow and we have to allow ourselves grace to do so. It's not just talking about how you treat others, but also it's important that you show your grace as well to yourself. 10 emotions that are underrated in the office. I will use the picture here as the thumbnail for the video. If you like this subject and subjects such as these, please subscribe to the channel. I'm Ben. Be good.